If the Republicans were to offer black people free stuff, I know you admit with this, you agree with me on this. If the Republicans were to offer black people free stuff like affirmative action, now they want more reparations and all that, there would be more blacks in the Republican Party. Do you agree?
Absolutely not, because nobody wants free stuff.
Black people do.
No, they don't. This is where you're fundamentally misunderstanding.
Why they want reparations and affirmative action and Obamacare? Why they
literally the word reparations starts with the same root as repayment. It's not.
But they haven't done anything for repayment.
The work you already did.
But we have given them everything.
Can't say that paying somebody for the work they already did is free stuff.
We have given them everything.
One, who is we in this situation when you're saying we gave it to them?
The American people. First, I want to know, are you still working with Jesse Jackson's organization, Rainbow Push?
I still volunteer for it from time to time. I interned there in college, worked with Janice Mathis on the Citizenship Education Program in Atlanta. Wonderful organization, still doing great work in the community.
Do you agree that cries of racism are destruction from the black on black murder? Because if they did something about black on black crime in Chicago, the blacks would be crying racism. So that's why I believe you don't hear a lot about all that. What do you think?
There's no such thing as black on black crime. There's just crime. Understand that 85% of white people are killed by other white people. Crime is a proximal issue because we still live in a society which is largely geographically segregated. People kill, rob, beat up other people who live near them who are generally of their same race. So this idea of black on black crime is just kind of a concept invented in the 80s to prevent law enforcement and politicians from having to address the real issue, which is crime, which is overpopulation, which is lack of economic opportunity, lack of educational achievement, the lack of putting investments in communities to secure them from the criminal elements.
But you might not be aware, but blacks are more than 4 times as likely to kill blacks as whites are to kill whites. You used the word black economics situation, right? Blacks are having problem with money.
Correct.
When will the blacks been crying about that for over 70 years now? At what point will blacks stop acting poor or being poor and showing the world that they are incapable of making finance or creating finance for themselves? How long will they use that excuse?
Oh, it's not an excuse when it's governmental policy. You say the last 70 years, but remember when slavery was over, we still had over 100 years of Jim Crow until the 1960s. Even that, you had redlining, reverse law redlining. So this concept or this idea that somehow black people just don't know how to manage money, don't know how to open businesses. Look at what happened in Black Wall Street, where we did all the things you're saying we should do. Harlem Renaissance, you can go down the line. You cannot take out the...
Robert, those are a bunch of excuses too. I grew up under the Jim Crow laws, and blacks were better off financially, morally, and everything else then than they are today. Most blacks are immoral. They are crying poverty. They are constantly crying racism. They want affirmative action. Now they're crying for reparation. Where is the shame? And why is it that they are not embarrassed about presenting themselves as being so poor and black, and they need the white man to do something for them? Why can't they just finally shut up and do for themselves?
So when you say they're crying about racism, why aren't you asking why are white people being less racist? But when you're talking about crying about the economics, why aren't you saying how do we fix the economic system to create a space where everybody can prosper, not simply the 1%, not simply people of a certain economic group? Because truthfully, this
so are you saying that
along racial lines is ridiculous?
Are you saying that the blacks continue to cry because we support our ally in the Middle East, Israel?
Nobody is crying. When you say crying, why are so many of these Tea Partiers crying when someone else gets something out of the governmental pot? Why are these corporations crying when you try to tax them to a point that is equal to other nations? Why are these big billionaires and billionaires crying every time you say that we want to do something economically for the rest of the country? It's not about crying. We live in a representative democracy.
I don't know if you...
The whole point of the First Amendment is for people to have the right to redress their government for to address their needs.
Because of time, let me do this. I don't know if you're aware or not, most cultures around the world, especially in America, are sick of black people. They're sick of being falsely accused of being racist. They are sick of black people whining and begging and being violent toward other races. Even the Mexicans don't like the blacks. Why don't you people work on getting blacks to change their attitude? Stop being angry. Stop being violent. Stop begging, rather than keep pushing the beg and act. Why not become decent people again?
Jesse, I've been to 22 nations around this world. Not one of them says they hate black people. I've been to Japan, Thailand. I've been all over Central America, Mexico. No one hates black people.
Yes, they're fed up with them.
The income inequality, the lack of rights between groups. They hate the fact that there are portions of this world that...
They may not be telling you, but they do hate them. So are you for the wall, big, beautiful wall going up around the borders?
Well, understand, it will never happen. So that's part of the issue
you
run into.
Are you for it?
It is economically impossible. It is physically impossible. There's no way for it to actually work, and President Trump hasn't articulated...
Robert, I don't know if you understand it, and I'm asking you simple questions that you're not answering. Are you for the big, beautiful wall going up around the borders?
Do you have any concept of how to pay for that wall?
That's not the answer to my question.
Absolutely. Look, I'm for unicorns and I'm for clouds. If I can't pay for it and make it happen in real life, it doesn't matter, does it? So how is that why you are paying for this wall?
Robert, are you for the big, beautiful wall going up around the U.S. and Mexico borders?
How exactly would you pay for it? How would you deal with eminent domain? How would you deal with farmers' rights?
You're definitely a lawyer.
Barriers.
So let me ask this. When illegal aliens come into our country, they land in the inner cities for the most part. And by moving into the inner cities, they bring drug, crime. They're invading the public school system. They are invading the healthcare system. They're running black people out of their own communities. Does it bother you that illegal aliens are affecting black people in America first and foremost in a negative way?
Well, let's understand first, the legal immigration issue came to an head after Reagan amnesty.
Every time I ask you where you've been, you tell me where you're going. Why is that?
Well, because you have to have an actual conversation around things.
I'm asking you specific questions that you're not answering. Do you care that black people are being hurt? First and foremost.
So let's start with Reagan amnesty in 1986.
Robert, I didn't ask about Reagan. Where is Reagan now? So the question is, do you care that black people are being hurt first and foremost by illegal aliens coming into our country?
Well, you're starting with a faulty premise, which is that illegal aliens are hurting the black community. What you have to understand is that America is a graying nation. The birth rate has dropped over the last century, and we don't have continued immigration.
Do you realize you're not answering any question, Robert?
Well, because you're not asking.
If you were in a court of a law, the judge will have you dismissed.
Not to know, I've won over 100 cases in Twitter trials, so I guarantee you I've won more cases than you have in court.
I wouldn't put my money on that if I were you. If the Republicans were to offer black people free stuff, I know you admit with this, you agree with me on this. If the Republicans were to offer black people free stuff like affirmative action, now they want more reparations and all that, there would be more blacks in the Republican Party. Do you agree?
Absolutely not, because nobody wants free stuff.
Black people do.
No, they don't. This is where you're fundamentally misunderstanding.
Why they want reparations and affirmative action and Obamacare? Why are they
literally the word reparations starts at the same root as repayment. It's not.
But they haven't done anything for repayment.
The work you already did.
But we have given them
you
everything.
Can't say that paying somebody for the work they already did
Robert,
is free stuff.
We have given them everything.
That's Republican healthcare plan. You're starting from fundamentally flawed premises.
Robert, we have given black people everything they asked for. They wanted to.
Who is we?
They wanted to integrate this. Remember, they wanted to integrate the schools, the white schools. They wanted to free welfare. So we gave them welfare. They wanted to move into the white communities. So we said, okay, y'all can move into the white communities. They wanted to get jobs and go to white schools without earning their way in. And so they came up with this idea of a affirmative action. And so now we let black people in simply because they're black, not because they're qualified. Now they want more reparation. We don't have any more to get them.